Hello, and thank you for tuning back into Aaron Meets World. My name's Aaron, and today I am going to do my next Hot Toys Spotlight video on the Infinity War Thanos figure. So this will be a quick review of my thoughts on that figure. So originally I was a little bit on the fence about getting Infinity War Thanos, and also with the announcement of the Armored Endgame version, I was kind of bouncing back and forth between the two of them, thinking about which one I might want more. And ultimately, the movies that they're from ended up helping me make the decision over which one I wanted to go for. And I may still end up going for the Endgame version. But as far as the representation of the character goes, I did actually enjoy Thanos the most in Infinity War, since that was more his movie, while Endgame was not so much his movie. This one is also, at least as of right now, completely movie accurate, while the Endgame figure, at least in the promo photos up to this point, is not, because he still has the gold gauntlet on and not the red gauntlet, and it's on the wrong hand. Anyways, from the video reviews that I had watched myself, everybody was talking about how impressed they were with this figure, and he definitely looks cool on video, but I wasn't prepared for the impression that he would make actually being in the room and as a figure in person, which, is often the case. This is actually one of the most impressive Hot Toys figures that I have, being so much larger than your typical Hot Toys figure and on the same scale as some would be if they were quarter scale figures. That gives you room for much more detail in the head sculpt and much more detail in things like the gauntlet on his arm, the boots, the armor, that kind of thing. This figure shows off a lot of detail. Not that the smaller 1/6 figures don't, but just looking at this guy's face up close, it is really striking in a way that some 1/6 figures aren't. I have not yet tested the light up feature in the gauntlet. I tend to not use up the light up features just because I don't want to bother with batteries and stuff like that. But even so, the detailing on the gauntlet, all the stones there, they really look nice. The tailoring on the clothing, especially the detailing on the armor in the upper section here, and even when you look closer on the blue section of his armor, it is really detailed when you are able to look at it up close. The articulation on the figure is great. He's easy to get into a standing position. He doesn't really need his stand, but I just tend to use them for extra stability. When you spend this much on a figure, you don't want a chance at falling over or getting damaged or scratched or anything like that if you can avoid it. So I tend to use them whether the figure really needs it or not, as just some extra security. It's really easy to remove the head and remove the arm to switch them out, so you can go from the straight arm to the bent arm, as well as changing from the open hand to the fist, and from his regular face to the angry face. That's really easy. I'm not really that worried about accidentally breaking a peg or something like that. They're pretty thick and they seem like they're gonna hold up. So as far as this figure goes, it's really detailed, high quality. It's definitely worth having in the collection. I was on the fence ahead of time, not sure if I'd end up liking it or not, but it's very worthwhile, and actually I wouldn't necessarily say one of my favorites just because I have characters that I love much more than him. But as far as a quality of figure goes, it's probably up there in mine as far as how good he looks in person. Some other reviews have complained about gaps in the shoulders and stuff like that, and yes, they are there. If you look closely, especially from the side, you see them. Viewing from the front, I mean, you can still kind of see it, but it's not that noticeable, and it doesn't really bother me at all. I mean, you can nitpick about any one of these figures. They all have little imperfections. Shoulders and arm joints tend to be an area where you end up with a little bit of a gap, especially on Iron Man type figures. So, I mean, that's just a thing. But yeah, as far as this figure goes, I definitely think he was worth it. If you're on the fence about it, you should probably go for it. I have a feeling that this guy is going to hold value at the very least and probably jump up a little bit, especially after Endgame's out and this one's no longer available, and maybe after that one's no longer available. Thanos is going to end up being a hot commodity. If any of the villains are, aside from Loki, going to be sought after, it's going to be one of these Thanos figures. And with Endgame being the last one, I actually see more people jumping on that one than this one. So this one's going to end up being pretty highly sought after, I think. But anyways, what do you guys think of Thanos? I received mine kind of late compared to a lot of other reviewers, and that's kind of just what happens when you put your figures on payment plans and you're trying to juggle a lot of different figures. Since the last video, several videos ago, where I talked about what I have pre-ordered, I ended up day one pre-ordering the Guardians 2 Stan Lee because I had a feeling that would go waitlist, and it did. I'm still waiting to see if my Homecoming Stark suit Spider-Man will convert. I'm really hoping it does. I also went on the waitlist for the Matrix Neo figure, which I bounced back and forth on, and I don't know if I'll actually end up getting it, even if it does convert, but I decided I want to be on that waitlist just in case. And then I ended up ordering the Advanced Suit PS4 Spider-Man as well, but I'm kind of leaning towards canceling that one just because I don't think it's going to end up fitting with my collection, and the Spider-Man suits that I ended up using all the time when I played the PS4 game were actually the MCU suits anyway. I like those better, so I'm on the fence about that, and I have a lot of other figures coming up that I still need to pre-order, like Dooku, the Episode 2 Yoda, Ant-Man, the Wasp, still waiting to see if we end up getting an Endgame Captain Marvel. I want to pre-order the Mark 7. I'd like to, if I can find the monetary bandwidth, to get the quarter scale Mark 3. And then there are also some other companies with 6 scale figures that I'm toying with the idea of getting, since QMX is re-releasing Kirk and Spock from Star Trek the original series. There's also that really cool looking Gandalf from, I think the company's called Asmus, which is overpriced, but I still kind of want it, so we'll see. And then of course there's all the Endgame figures at the beginning of next year, which I need to get my pre-order in on as well, at the very least for Cap and Iron Man. But anyways, let me know what you thought about this Thanos. Give me a like if you liked the video. Please give me a comment and subscribe as well. I do have a lot more coming up. My next video will probably be a review of the Edith Tony Stark glasses that I got off of Amazon. They just arrived today and they look pretty cool, so I'll be showing that off very soon. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye.